Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Uneducation Station. Of course, my name is Zach, and I'm here with my hostess with the mostest, Arthur.
I am Arthur. Dude, this is, I think this is the earliest we've ever shot.
I mean,
I guess it is. Well, this is the earliest we started to shoot, or the earliest you came here.
yeah.
So, yeah. Hello. Now to be fair, usually when we shoot, either way, I have just woken up. But this is the earliest I have just woken up so far. So this is incredible. Where things are getting crazy. Oh, I changed my wallpaper, or not my wallpaper. Well, I did change my wallpaper, but I got yellow buttons now, and now I have a blue and there you go. And now I have a blue and white, yellow wallpaper. You see that?
Ooh, yeah.
And then I have red buttons. Zach, I'm having fun. You know,
We have fun.
We have fun here in the studio. We have fun here in the office. I just thought I would share. I find it it makes me happy for no reason, or maybe for a bigger reason than I think. But it makes me like just happy when things are just correct. Anyways,
when things just kind of work out that way.
Yeah, I know, right? I've never coordinated something like my phone case and my wallpaper before. I was the type of guy like you, because you have your dog as your wallpaper, right?
Yeah.
I was just like that. Ran a picture I like, whether it been sentimental value or just a picture, and now I'm just like coordinating it with the colors. It's fun. Ever since we started this show, I swear to God, I've just thought about everything is just a fashion show, and everything has to be coordinated. I finally have a sweatshirt. I have an AMD sweatshirt, which is ironic because Intel is kind of killing it right now. But now people are like, "Oh, you have an AMD sweatshirt? You're an AMD fanboy." No, I just don't happen to have an Intel sweatshirt. Out of all the things that I just happen to have, I don't happen to have an Intel. So I'm sorry. I apologize. I'll get one.
That's bizarre for you, though.
What do you mean?
I mean, you just happen to have so many different things.
Okay, but of all the things that I don't happen to have, of course it's clothing.
Of course, yeah, that's true.
Come on. I stay inside all day, Zach. Why would I need clothes? Clothes.
You're like, I'm wearing pajama pants under this.
Why is clothes spelled cloths but not said cloths?
It was probably at one point said cloths.
Maybe. I'm just happy because I accidentally undid this plastic wrap for this charger wire that I'm never going to undo because it's so perfect. And I put it back together. And when I thought I wasn't able to. This is a terrible start to the episode, but I think it's kind of wholesome in a way. Last couple episodes have been a little crazy, I think we've gotten pretty passionate. But not that that's a bad thing.
Right.
Because, we got to get it out at some point. And I feel like some coming up episodes are going to be, again, pretty passionate. So I feel like we need a good filler. We need filler episodes, Zach.
Yeah.
It can't just be bangers after bangers. As much as we want them to be bangers after bangers, they can only be bangers if we have filler episodes, Zach. That's the point of filler episodes, people. That's why you don't skip the filler episodes, people. Sorry, my bad. Except unless it's Naruto. That's fair.
Yeah, and I think we were kind of taking ourselves a little bit too seriously over the course of the last couple episodes. And so I think it'd be good to just kind of goof around, have a good time, talk about random shit. You bought a Amazon.
Throw Pokemon at each other again? I'm not doing that.
I just flinched so hard. I hope you know.
I know. I'm not sure if I grabbed it, by the way. Also, actually, I'm not going to mention it. But yeah, I did get a Amazon buddy. Are you going to... Okay, I haven't really used it very much. I just set it up and then I connected it with the account, and then I was like, all right, now I sleep. So not much has happened. Dude, some things have changed in the studio. Not that you can see because movie magic is pretty cool. But everything outside of the camera frame is chaotic mess right now. But you will never see it, so it's fine. I'm setting up acoustic foam panel. Yeah, show them. I have the triangle buddies now because before I had the pillar buddies or whatever you want to call it, the rice field buddies, Yeah. And now I have these ones. Why? Don't know. Is there another science to it? Doesn't matter because they're all. It's these acoustic foams is just rebranded packing material. Don't worry about it. It's all the same thing, so it doesn't matter. And it was a good value, sure. And then I bought it, and then 7 months later, I'm finally setting them up. So it's going to be great. Problem is, Zach, the way these were... Okay, I know this is really weird topic, but I'm gonna bring it up because it pissed me off. And the process of because they came vacuum sealed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're all squishy boyed together.
Mm-hmm.
The way to unsquishy boy them together is to soak them in water.
Mm-hmm.
When I soaked them in water, they proceeded to smell like fish oil.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
That was not the weird part for you? You're just, No, Zach, it smelled terrible. My hands smell like fish oil. I forgot. That's right. You guys don't really use fish oil very much. So do you know what fish oil is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's more of like it's usually for Asian dishes to throw in a different type of salty taste, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want salty taste or smell, Zach, on my acoustic foams. On my hands. So what it really smelled like, Zach, let me boil it. Not necessarily fish oil. It smelled like piss. Like human piss.
Mm.
But with fish oil in it. It was bad. And this room smelled bad. And my hands smelled bad. And my motivation smelled bad. And it was just not good. But I ended up we're here now. You can't see it, of course. And by the time this episode goes up, I should be actually no, because now this is gonna go up in a couple of days. So actually, I'm not sure if I'll be. Oh, I'm almost done. I'm like super close to the.
You have like one more panel's worth of space to put.
Yeah, I know, but then I have to cut a little bit of it because it's whatever. And then I'm gonna hang my guitar up there, and I'm gonna hang my. I'm gonna see if I can't hang a guitar on the right side, but it might end up being uneven. I might not like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure because this shelf to the right of that, its big shelf is uneven. It's whatever. It's all good. Minor things. Doesn't matter when I'm doing piano, because the point of me doing this acoustic foam thing I'm talking about is because I want to start doing piano tweets again. And not just piano tweets, but like, piano videos. And I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned in the podcast, but I created this music set because this is a studio. As much as I'm joking around, we're joking around having a time. I wanted to create this entire area as a studio where there's a different set in each corner. Technically, this corner is it's like in the dead center, but then, this corner is my gaming set where you guys see my live stream and the games and stuff. Over there is my computer set, which I'm pointing at things that you guys can't see it because we don't have a third angle. Is this we do? No, we don't. And then over here is the music set, and it's a work in progress. Of course, it's a huge mess. I'm trying different things, and excuse me. All right, it's about that point in time in the morning where I start getting nasally. I was doing fine before. I did just a bit ago, but it returned. What time is it? 11. I think 11 a.m. is my start of getting nasally. I'll keep that in track. Maybe we start recording at like 8 a.m.
I hope you know that I was
no,
up
please
at
do
like,
not. Please do not.
I was up at like 7 this morning.
You have a lot to do today, which you're not going to tell me apparently, but that's okay.
Well, okay. I just didn't.
I'm joking. It sounds
No.
fine. It sounds fun. Whatever. Don't tell me, bro. I'm down. I'm down. But yeah, I'm not gonna sing. Well, maybe I might. I don't know. But I'm not a singer. I'm more of like just a player buddy, right?
Mhm.
But I want to be able to create a space where if my friends or even you want to use a space and record something, like a song cover or whatever it may be, or even a jam sesh, whatever that may be. I want to create a space like that since I have the equipment for it now and we have the means to do so. So I've been setting up posters and stuff, trying different things. Some things might change, some things might not stay. Things that you guys can't see. So I'm basically blue ballsing you right now. But if you can go ahead and check my Twitter in the description or Twitter.com/Anuki, and you can see if the shelf is up right now. But yeah, my life's been pretty eventful as far as like things and stuff goes because whenever I decide I want to get work done, it's in weird unopportune times, but it keeps me busy, I suppose. But I wish I had more time to do other things, like finish this damn wedding video I've been trying to finish.
Yeah, I found myself accidentally being very, very productive with my time, like last night and this morning because my parents are out of town. They are up in Spokane, and so I'm home by myself.
Oh.
And I have like 10 animals at home.
Wow.
And so when I woke up this morning, I was running around like an absolute madman because I was trying to make sure that I got everything done that needed to be done.
And
yeah,
here I am. I just woke up. You know, you can see the duality of men.
well, the weird thing is that like my body is used to being awake and productive
That's true. That's
at
a good thing. Yeah.
at like 8-9 a.m. Because usually by that time I've been at work for a while.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's definitely really weird feeling like there's so much that I can do throughout my day, and work has made it super easy for me to see like a visual representation of that because of all the crazy shit that I do at work. Yeah, it's really, really crazy. And then like, you know, I'm trying to clean up my room, to set up like my gaming set.
Let's go.
Set up like I want to make it look better because it's functional right now. Like it works. I have access to everything.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. But I mean, are you changing it from when the last time I've seen it? Because you already changed it from the last time I've seen it. Are you rearranging or just kind of cleaning?
I'm trying to decide. So I'm cleaning, and
I hope cleaning is part of it because it's kind of wild. But you know, I digress.
Yeah. No, it's a little chaotic in there.
Well, I mean, you have parents out of town, so that means suddenly you have time. Question mark, which seems to happen a lot. You know, sometimes when my parents are gone, I'm like, you know, I guess it's time to do things.
I think it's a noise complaint thing for me because I find myself wanting to be productive at like 2:00 in the morning, kind of similar to you.
Same.
And so I will just be hammering stuff out while it's 2:00 in the morning and not worrying about waking up anybody because there's no one there.
Yeah.
And if there was someone there, then that would be an entirely different issue.
That's really nice. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm planning on doing a lot of things, and I don't have a lot of time to do it, essentially, which is fun. It's lots of fun. Stress.
It is stress. But you know, it's that saying, or maybe not saying, but that vibe that, you know, when you're told to clean, you'll never do it. But if you clean yourself, you're gonna have a time, and you will go way more hardcore. You know, like I can't tell you like the times that I would just clean my room or this room, and I don't mean like put things away or back. I mean like for not just cause.
Yeah.
And 2 in the morning, you know. Sometimes I think maybe it's because we're creatives, because I working in the Call of Duty space mostly. You know, it's kind of how that worked because our schedules consisted of, you know, at the time being students and then COD editors at night, right?
Yeah.
You know, demon hours, right? So we're staying up all night. And now I talk to my buddies who have jobs, whether it's in the profession or, you know, doing other things. Like, man, I try and maintain a normal sleep schedule as much as I can, but I just get the most creative at like 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
I just want to be productive in 1, 2 in the morning. And I don't have an issue with like waking up well, I do, but I understand the reason of, you know, wanting to function in the morning and do all sorts of things and then go to bed at a reasonable time. But I feel like it shouldn't be this whole, if you don't do it, you're like some sort of crucified human being. It's this weird, like, what are you doing? You know, part of it, I do agree. It's like, you know, with work during broad daylight, you know, it's good for you. And I understand that. But as far as good for you, I don't know how much that means, because that doesn't matter if you're working in an office space, for example, and you're inside anyways, not soaking up that nice vitamin D's nuts. I feel like you need to, you know, not be too annoyed by the fact of when you wake up, because we joke around, yeah, Anuki, Arthur, he wakes up at like 2 p.m., 3 p.m., sure, but that's with no alarm clock. That's with no coffee, with no caffeine. I just wake
staying up until
and then
6 a.m.
Yeah. No caffeine or caffee. Or sorry, coffee or what the fuck? No caffeine. Look at this, bro.
I got you.
Yes, thank you, by the way. Not that I'm against the fact that you bought me caffeine. I'm not against caffeine, of course. I'm not against coffee, but you know, at the end of the day, coffee is what it is, caffeine is what it is. So what if I can just function as a normal human being without needing that?
Yeah.
So I'll just wake up when I'm ready to wake up. Is how I feel. But obviously that ends up relying on variety. So it's going to depend on everyone, right? It's going to depend on everyone, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously someone who has to work their 9 to 5 job in an office can't just do that, right?
Yeah.
But maybe someone who works at home and has their own hours clocks in at, because a lot of people working at home now, even office workers, and they just have to, well, not many, not all of them, but some I know can just clock in and do whatever hours they need to during whatever time works for them. Because some people, the situation might be different. They work at home, but they have kids that they have to tutor during the day, so they can't work during the day, that type of thing. So it just kind of depends on if you want to clock in, do your work, whatever time that works for you. So that could be an option.
Yeah, and everyone's internal body clock is a little bit different. And so I end up talking to a lot of people who have like a normal human sleep schedule where they'll go to bed at before midnight, wake up at 6, 7, whatever, no big deal. Whereas you'll wake up you'll go to bed at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm forcing you to get up out of bed at 10:30 in the morning. And
it's okay. Well, that's my fault. That's my fault because I've been I wait, you didn't even hear that. I just made a random Windows 10 noise. Don't worry about it. As I do in 11 in the morning. Listen, bro, there's been mobile games coming out. There's a slime game. You know that I think I mentioned it. The time I was reincarnated into a slime, that anime. They dropped a mobile game. It's been fire. Another mobile game, Gacha games, of course. That hasn't released here in the States, but more generally, an EN version, an English version. There's only been a Japanese version. Just dropped a couple days ago. So I've been grinding my ass on that. So, and then I've been streaming it again. So a lot of time, and I'm building a damn shelf. So I that's the reason why I was really, really damn tired. And I was streaming last night as well. We're gonna be playing GTA tonight. It's gonna be a lot of fucking fun, dude.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna be great. I'm so excited.
Bro, can I play GTA with you guys?
Dude, of course you can play GTA, bro. It's the chat game night, bro. Everybody's invited. If you have GTA 5 on Steam or on PC?
Yep. Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Anyways, Ubu Chat Discord, by the way. You could do bit.ly/Ubu Chat. You'll be vibing, bro. Anyways.
I love how you're talking and I'm over here threading a screw into a hole.
Oh my god, you are. You can't see it.
You can't see it.
It's just off frame.
Yeah. And it's working somehow?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's okay. I feel like what's happening is you might be expanding the hole ever so slightly.
Oh yeah, that's fair. With the threads and
not that it matters.
I mean,
not that I care.
Don't
worry, Zach. We have another board right here. We could turn it into a table.
We could just turn it into another desk.
Okay, so that's been my life. Zach? How is your life? Yep, this is what this episode is turning into. What keeps you
life updates?
What keeps you productive?
What keeps me productive is the fact that I have too many things to do and not enough time to do it. Do
you find yourself you have things to do, but you choose not to do them and you do other things to preoccupy the things that you have to do?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I just needed to make sure because this is the habit I've had since school, and I needed to make sure it wasn't just me who still has this habit. Because as you can tell from this wedding video that I haven't done yet, and these pictures I haven't edited yet, which I offloaded it to you, but it's still my fault that I haven't done them.
I haven't done them either.
I mean, that's fine because I'm not paying you to do it, so you have no obligation to do it. Don't worry. And the shelf. I find things to do that I just, I'm just like, man, I don't know. This is the reason why I started forcing myself to do to-do lists. And I've been sticking with the to-do list this entire time. I've been doing pretty good with it. And it's helped a lot. I don't have anything written now because I finished them all.
Oh, wow.
Well, all the ones I needed to do immediately. As far as longer term things with deadlines, like my wedding video, yeah, that's been kind of rough. But yeah, I just sorry to cut you off, but yeah, things that I find to do A classic procrastinator as myself.
Yeah. Yeah, and I only work 3 days a week, but yet I'm still running around like an absolute madman
Mhm.
even when I'm not working. Like,
Well, you work all day, like literally all day. Well, it may as well be all day because you wake up in like fucking sun up, and then you come back. Well, now it's sundown at 5 p.m. So yeah, you wake up and sun up, and then you come back home and it's sundown. And because you work like freaking 10 hours a day,
12.
12 hours a day, even more. So it's like, man, I'm not trying to fucking do anything today. So basically, you lose 3 days a
Yeah.
week.
And
So you have to play
also
catch up.
I'm trying to, you know, do my side hustle of photography and all of that fun stuff, and um I'm going to be shooting a wedding.
Let's go.
It's going to be like a courthouse wedding. But that's going to be in the first week of December, and then I'm going to be doing another set of engagement photos, and then potentially another wedding early next year. So yeah, I'm trying to like plan a side hustle while doing my main hustle while trying to still have a life.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah,
so,
I just removed the life part, and then I've been able to make time. But it's okay.
yeah, and I mean, for me, you know, it's nice to just kind of have the times when we're able to shoot and we can just kind of sit and chill
Mm-hmm.
and just bullshit for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's definitely nice because I'm running around like a fucking madman.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's nice to kind of have that moment to just kind of sit and chill.
Right.
But it's wild, dude. It's really, really wild when I realize just how much I do.
I think it's fun to have things to do, especially when it's not school related. But I mean, when we did, like, for example, when we did go to school, whenever we had something that didn't have to do with school, it's always been like super fun, and
Mm-hmm.
even if it did happen to be like kind of work or even fucking labor or whatever that may be,
Mm-hmm.
it was always an event and it was always fun. Anything that wasn't school was just fun, and I feel like we carry that over because now, anything that isn't work, is like an event.
Yeah.
So I find I consider me rebuilding my studio not work, even though it technically, I guess in the long grand scheme of things, sure. But for me, it was more of just a fun project, I suppose. And I'm really happy with it, although it's still a mess. But that's more of just a day, one dedicated day for cleanup can fix. So I'm
Yeah.
not worried about that.
Now the question is when that dedicated day is gonna
That
come.
dedicated day is gonna come. When let me finish building this damn shelf. Well, the shelf is done. I just need to finish the wall. I gotta find
Okay.
measurements for the guitar, and it's like, fuck, man.
Okay, so I want to kind
The
of
card's over there now. I was gonna pull the guitar from the back, just like it's like a Skyrim inventory, and then start playing it.
So I want to talk about just the reign of terror that this shelf has had on your life the last couple
Dude.
days.
I need to give you a backstory for a sec, okay?
Okay.
So a couple months ago, working for my company, right? I mean my part-time job, which is a full-time job, but full-time, part-time. It's besides the point. That's nice. My part-time job. And this was around the time where I was working at the office of it. So I don't really work. I am going back there next week because I have to cover some shifts there. But I work. No, it's not unknown. I work at a bubble tea place, and they also have a main office because it's a chain, and a chain has to have a main office. I used to work there, mostly. Like I stopped working in the bubble tea chain place, and then I worked over in the office because they needed hands there. Now they have more employees, so that's fine. And one thing that I got asked to do was to build a shelf. And that was here's the thing, right? Okay. Zach, you may be thinking, Arthur, it's a plank of wood and that's what it is. There's just some planks of wood and some screws, maybe a hammer or two, maybe a nail or two, right? No. I found that I'm not very good with being handy. I've learned this. So,
which is ironic because you build computers, which takes a lot of like dexterity.
I know, right? I also have the confidence to flail components around for
Dude,
fun.
that clip still haunts my nightmares. Like
It's perfectly safe, Zach. It's
yeah,
fine.
I know, but it's not the fact that it was safe or not. It's just the fact that I didn't know at the time that it was completely safe. And
okay.
like the fact that I was the one filming when that happened and I was just behind the camera like silently losing my shit because I thought it was about to go like
no, if you want to know what we're talking about, by the way, it's going to be on my channel, the video I made. I built a PC for a console player. That was a very fun video. Built a computer for my cousin, who's a console player. Yep, that's how titles work. And
would have never thunk.
So yeah, that was a really fun video. It was kind of like, I think what makes, I don't know, that's going to be a tangent. Let me finish my shelf story, Zach.
Okay.
So frankly, I am not very handy. But I could I'm good at following directions, and if I was like with my dad or something, I could just build. I'm chilling, I'm comfortable with power tools. I'm comfortable with doing anything, like that type of stuff. I'm chilling. But the reason why this not only didn't work with me, but it pissed me off, was the way I was pitched it. So I'm just doing my job, right? And then my boss comes in. And by the way, if you guys are afraid for me about talking about my boss and my company on camera, I don't care. I'm chilling with everybody. We're all vibing. I don't care I'm chilling, So he comes up to me, right? And goes, Arthur, I got to leave in like 30 minutes. I want you to go to the front office, design to scale a custom shelf. And yeah, show up to me in 30 minutes before I leave. All right, bye. Now, for me, as someone who didn't sign up for it, for someone who is sure a little artsy, you can have some fun. I did do things that I didn't sign up for. Well, I don't know, right? Because I did do things like draw things for them, chalkboard type stuff. I've done that, and that's been fine, and I did get paid for it. So I can see where he was coming from. Like, okay, he's kind of, artsy or whatever. Let's have him build a shelf. The problem is, I feel like drawing a couple, maybe better than average stick figures, sure, and some fun text and bubble tees and stuff on a chalkboard is a little different than constructing a shelf, designing and constructing a shelf from scratch to scale. I feel like maybe I'm crazy, Zach. I need you to let me know if I'm crazy, okay? But I feel like those are two very different things.
I'm confused why he thought just out of nowhere, like, oh, this guy who works at a bubble tea place and
Can
can
draw a couple stick figures,
right? He can build a fucking shelf. Like, yeah, that totally, those things totally just, it all comes together.
I think, okay, as far as like building I could just build a normal bog standard shelf if it wasn't like for any artistic reason. Yeah, right? I did it. It took a couple days, but that's for a different reason. That's because like I'm going to get to that. Let me finish my shelf story, okay? Because I need to justify why it took me 3 days to build the shelf that I built, which is literally 3 just floating shelves. Or 4 actually, because 2 of them are put together. And I'll explain why it was shit. It wasn't 100% my fault. It was 50% my fault. 50% the fact that I bought cheap shelves, which ends up being 50% my fault for paying for really cheap shelves. Anyways, I don't. If you told me to drive down to IKEA, buy a shelf, come back and assemble it, I could do that.
Yeah.
if you told me, all right, just build a normal shelf, you don't have to paint it or nothing. It's just to kind of, go to Lowe's, a couple planks of wood, hammer. I could probably do that. Though it may take a little bit more time than others, I could probably figure it out. But let's say this is what he wanted me to do though. This is what bugged me. The front office space is kind of like let's say this corner right here. He wanted me to build kind of like this cubby shelf thing of multiple boxes and kind of circulating this way. So kind of like a this and or this, kind of like that.
Yeah.
From scratch and measuring, get a design on paper, measured and to scale in like 30 minutes. That's where I had a problem, right? And then I complained, where I was getting heated, and I was like complaining to my coworkers, because we have a coworker group chat. And I'm like, bro, this is bullshit. And they're like, yeah, it's kind of bullshit. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna deal with it. So went to my boss, and I was like, hey, man, I can't really do it. It's not really my thing. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with you. Nothing wrong with the shelf or anything. It's just like, it's just not what I do, Like if you want me to, I'll draw as much as you want me to, as long as it's not, too artistic. I'm pretty, comprehensive in like Photoshop and stuff. Let me do something like that. But this is a bit much, you see my interior decorating skills. How am I gonna build a shelf, Zach? So yeah, it's just not my area as far as design goes,
Mm-hmm.
because just like technology, just because one person is good at building computers doesn't mean they're good at they know everything about cameras as well.
Mm-hmm.
Although they are hand in hand. And me as an example, I as a average computer enjoyer can figure out cameras, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is I would have to go out of my way to do that. And what if I didn't like cameras? Then I wouldn't go out of my way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm coming from, right? So there's my tragic trauma story of shelves, okay? Fast forward a couple months, and here we are. And I told myself, okay, Arthur, you're going to set up these floating shelves. It can't be that it's not from scratch. There are instructions, okay? And if all worked, then I'd be fine, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now then, let me justify this long story, okay? Let me justify why it took me 3 days to set up 4 little floating shelves, which should have taken me like 2 hours max. Because I mentioned they are cheap shelves
Mm-hmm.
that I bought on Amazon, which frankly, I feel like I could have gotten much better quality if I went to Lowe's and bought planks of wood and shelf brackets. Frankly, I realize this now, but I didn't know, so it's whatever. And I looked at the picture and I was like, oh, that's pretty, it's pretty cool design, I suppose. And then I proceeded to get them, and I was like, yeah, they're just planks of wood. They're not even sanded. It's just wood. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Just wood.
It's just wood. All right. I mean, to be fair, I did cover it, like the brackets and stuff, with the acoustic foam, so I feel like I'm not really showing the full picture of justice.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't matter because it was shit. Anyway, so they came with these drywall anchors, which, if you don't really know, you know what drywall anchors are, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the kids at home, what they are is, if you need something on the wall, you can't just hammer or screw it into the wall. That's not going to work because drywall is very, fragile, soft, right? So if I build a shelf on drywall, it's going to fall. Bars. So you need these drywall anchors, which protrude into the drywall, and then you're able to, it'll stay there, and then you're able to screw into that drywall anchor. And the anchor kind of latches onto the backside of the drywall. So it kind of creates a sandwich thing with the itself and the screw. That's how it works. Science. Pretty cool, right? The ones it came with were garbage. So for an entire day, I was trying to screw in these drywall anchors, and it was just not working. and I would keep trying, and then it would just like, there's one or two just in the wall now because it just kind of broke through, and then whoop, when I try to screw it in, I'm like, okay,
Wait, it went through the drywall like into the wall?
into the wall. They're just chilling
Oh.
because they
You know,
they didn't grab the wall.
Yeah. I have some funny stories that have nothing to do with this. It just made me think of things that are randomly in a wall.
Yes. So that's that. I'm only taking 50% of that being my fault because one, my dad offered drywall anchors, which I ended up using, that were good. But I was like, I mean, it came with the set and people bought it and put them up. So it should work. You know what? Give me a sec. I'm going to grab one of them if I could find one real quick. Hold on. Because I need to see if I'm stupid or not, Zach. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I need to make sure I'm not stupid. Hold on. Give me a second. Okay. So
you got the things.
I got the things. Not the things for the shelf, but for something else I'm setting up, which is going to be guitar hangers. And this also stands my point of am I stupid or not? Because it came with the same exact drywall anchors. And I'm like, ooh. Because the one I use that my dad gave me weren't like this, and they worked like a charm. They worked beautifully. And then the shelf ones they came with, which were shit. And then I was like, okay, maybe it's just the shelf ones. And then I bought these things, these guitar hangers, and they came with the same ones. So here's one of the drywall anchors.
Mm-hmm.
You see the tip?
Mm-hmm.
It's Phillips.
Yep.
So you would, screwdriver or drill right into the wall.
Mm-hmm.
How are you supposed to get a screw in here? Let me am I stupid? Hold on. Okay, so now I have one of the screws it came with. It won't. The threads are bigger than. Am I dumb?
No.
Like it's not. I feel like I could force it if I drilled it, but I was like, I didn't have a drill at the time. Maybe I have to drill it, but then that would require you to have a drill. But the pictures say you can use a screwdriver, dude. I don't, because then I'm just like, I'm screwing it right now, right? It's not there. It's stuck. It's not screwing anymore. If I got a screwdriver, sure, I could force it, but I'm screwing this and I'm just forcing it into plastic. Am I crazy, Zach? I need you to hold I need you to try it, Zach. Okay. So imagine, imagine you take the wall anchor, right? And then you throw it to the wall, into the wall, right? And then, okay, cool. And then you put...
the thing that confuses me is that it looks like there's like a cavity where the screw would go.
Yes. Right.
And I'm looking at the anchors over there.
Mm-hmm. I should grab them.
Yes, go grab them.
I'm going to grab them.
So it doesn't make any sense. And I feel like you wouldn't be upset if we just destroyed these because these are literally fucking useless.
I'm probably going to use these anyways.
And like even then, like there's a little, I don't know how well you guys would be able to see it, but there's like a little place where it looks like it has like the outline of a screw, and then you look at it compared to the size of the actual screw, and it's like half the size.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't make any fucking sense. So basically what that means is even if you screwed...
even if you were able to put the screw in.
Yeah, even if you were able to put the screw in, drill it through the Phillips head thing, then you would end up going through the back of this. And then not only that, but when you would try to get it out, you drilled through the Phillips head. And so now you're not going to be able to get this anchor out. So it's
worst case scenario, you wouldn't be able to get the screw out of the anchor, or it would just be loosey goosey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. Okay. Even then, so the little cavity, buddy, is it ends like right here.
Mm-hmm.
Here, let me. Two dudes figure out hardware. It ends like right here, like 3/4 of the way. If I take my screw and show you where it ends, there's like a 1/2 inch of the screw sticking out.
Mm-hmm.
Because this part is too thin for the screw to go unless it fits, but it doesn't. No, it definitely doesn't, Zach. Unless it expands. Maybe it expands because it is plastic. But then I would have to screw through this, which is a Phillips head on the top, which this doesn't go through. But then if I show you this wall anchor, it is a Phillips head, but it's also a giant damn circle.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see it. Well, maybe. Here, zoom and enhance. Let's see if I remember to do that. I'm not going to remember to do that. Imagine this just being a straight Phillips head, just across. And this is a cross, but with a gaping circle in the center, of which the screw can enter. And the cavity doesn't stop. It goes to the very end. So the screw can make itself all the way to the very end.
Mm-hmm.
That's the wall anchors I've always worked with my dad. These are the ones we've always worked with. So these ones are new to me. Maybe it does work. Maybe I am supposed to screw right through. Maybe I'd have to take the drill over there, which I ended up getting. It's over there. Maybe I do just drill through it. Maybe I'll try that. But here's the thing,
Should
right?
we do it live?
No. Here's the thing, Zach. I threw it. I don't want to because the predicament I have is if I screw this wall anchor through and it doesn't work, I can no longer use that area within like a 1/2 inch radius.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to find a new, and that's the predicament I had with my shelf. Another one, that's part 2. I did this, it didn't work, and now there was this gaping hole where I was supposed to put the screw hole for the shelf. I'm like, well, fuck. So I had to adjust the shelf. So I can't keep making mistakes, otherwise, the shelf will end up being uneven, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had to just, okay, I can't do this. I'm not going to risk it. So now I'm going to be setting up these guitar hangers, and it requires 2. I don't want to fuck them up because then the guitar hangers will be to the left or too far to the right than I wanted, or too far up or too far down. I don't want that. So I'd rather just stick with something that makes sense rather. I mean, I guess what I could do is just kind of drill this through just be maybe behind one of those panels so it won't be seen. But then again, I don't want to punch as many holes. Like this is again, like the reason why I never punched any holes before, excuse me, is because this isn't it is my house, but it's my, I'm living with my parents. This isn't technically my room,
Mm-hmm.
As the same reason why I haven't painted, because I don't want to just do that. So for that same reason, I don't want to just start punching holes in the wall and then be like, all right, well, I'm going to move out now. See you later. That's not the vibe I want to go for. So that's why I don't want to punch holes into the wall just to test things. But I mean, I know you can feel it. I understand, but it's like, yeah, it's at a weird predicament. So there's part 2. Part 3, let's see. Is there a part 3? I think it's just part 1 and 2. It's really just the wall anchors. Those are maybe the quality of the screws, like the screws that I screwed into the board itself, weren't the best, and they also don't sit flush with the bracket. Like you can kind of see one of the things where if I don't mention, you never see it. But if you look at,
see it.
You can see it, right? It's kind of sticking a little bit.
Why? Why are they like that?
Yeah, so basically, if you want to build a floating shelf system, just go to Lowe's. I don't know. Go. It's like they'll cut the wood for you if you ask. Buy some sandpaper while you're there and just kind of, get a saucy 200 grit and just kind of crank it out. It could be a fun project. Maybe you have a son. Maybe you have a dad. Or some other person in your household who may be interested in partaking in this project with you for a bonding moment.
Also, if you're really feeling fancy, like really, really fancy, you could buy like wood stain and stain the wood and do it that way.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to do that. Like the wood over there. Oh, sorry. The wood over there for the shelf. Like imagine how much better it would look if it was sanded and stained.
Yeah, I know, right?
It would fucking
Jesus.
it would look so much better. And like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, I know all about doing stuff with my hands.
I don't.
I don't.
I recognize that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I've been able to, I did my shop class and
I was gonna bring that up. I was gonna start bringing that. Yeah.
I've been able to do a lot of things hands-on. I the shed that's in my backyard, I helped my dad build that, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, I've had an opportunity to be able to build a bunch of shit. And so I kind of know what I'm talking about,
Right.
but also I kind of don't. And if you ask me to do something without any instruction whatsoever, I'd be like, I am about
Right.
to fuck this up astronomically.
Right.
But you know, in the floating shelf example, I feel like, you know, if it wouldn't really be that hard.
No. It's definitely much easier to do than building a normal shelf because you quite literally, like I said, any plank of wood and a shelf bracket, all of which you can just buy at Lowe's.
Yeah.
You know, make sure the shelf bracket doesn't protrude longer than the wood itself. I'm pretty sure you can figure that one out.
Mm-hmm.
You get some stain. I mean, you got to buy it well, actually, no, you don't have to buy a lot of it. You can just get like a can or whatever, right? I think there's just spray, baby. I don't know.
No, it's not a.
Oh no, I'm thinking of primer. Sorry, I'm thinking of primer. But yeah, you can probably just get like a little buddy bucket, and I mean that can go a long way. Maybe one of these days you want to stain some more things. I will say, Zach, I never really understood the how strong staining and sanding was until that middle school shop class. I gotta say, you know, like,
dude, okay,
when we built something and we're like, this is pretty cool, and then you proceeded to rough sand it with like 60 grit and then fine sand it with 200 grit and then stain that bitch, you're like, damn.
Yeah, you can bring that shit down to like 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 grit.
Yeah,
like
sanding is cool.
Oh, dude, it's the most fun.
I know, dude. It's just a little thing, right? And you don't even have to go that hardcore. You can just do like one coat. You know, like if you don't care that much, it's gonna sit on your shelf and you don't even see the top of it very much, and things are gonna be on top of it. Fuck it, bro. Just do like one coat.
It's just that extra sauce, just that little bit of just like
it looks so premium. You know, if like, man, fuck it. Well, let's just stain these tables, Zach. Make it look not as cheap as it is. You know. Let's stain this plank of wood, Zach, for no reason, and then I'll just hang it. Be like, yep, we did that.
Oh, you know what'd be kind of cool though is have you seen those people who draw on wood with like a hot iron where they like burn into the wood?
Oh no, I haven't. That's interesting.
It's really, really cool, and I've seen people do some really cool shit with it. So if you wanted to do something like that, that could be fucking cool. That could be really, really cool. And you know, I would love to be a part of everything but the drawing part because I can't draw this shit.
Did something turn off?
What the?
Wait, did you turn? Oh, was it a lamp? Did
Yeah.
you hit a 30-minute buddy? Because we have a 30-minute buddy.
Oh, no.
One of the lumens is gone. I have to turn back the lumens. All right, proceed.
But anyways, yeah, it's really fun to go down like the woodworking rabbit hole, especially just kind of watching it. Because it's so satisfying.
Yeah. I have nothing wrong with like woodwork or handiwork or anything like that. I've done it. Like my dad is a labor worker and I've helped him out, you know. I'm very comfortable with it. It's just like, you know, Arthur, I want you to custom design a shelf and build it. Show me the blueprints of it too. Go ahead. All right. I'll be back in like 30 minutes. You know, it's like, let's say you, Zach, all right?
Me.
You.
A guy like me.
Guy like you, Zach, into tech, camera, YouTube videos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your boss comes up to you, a theoretical boss for a theoretical job, and goes, "Hey, I know you're a 9-to-5 job office slave worker, but I heard you like tech, right? Like you have a camera stuff. All right, cool. You mind 3D modeling this thing real quick for me?"
Yeah. No?
You have I gotta get to lunch in like 20 minutes and show my supervisor. All right. See you later.
What? No. Fuck that. I'm good.
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And frankly, if you sat down and you were interested, you could probably learn to do that on your own. You know, maybe you want to 3D model something on your own and have a time. You could do that.
Right.
But that's not the point here. Right?
The fact that they're trying to get you to do it, not only
maybe it
without
does interest
asking.
you. Maybe it does interest you, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the point.
Not only did they didn't ask you, they told you to do it.
Mhm.
They gave you a unrealistic time frame, even if you were skilled in said thing. And also they just picked something fucking random, like you were just a random person, and it was just like, oh yeah, you know, he's a strong, strapping man. I'm sure he does woodworking, and you know, he works at a bubble tea place as a side hustle. Like, no, fuck off. That's bullshit.
It said, "Hey, you worked at a restaurant before, right? You're good at cooking, right? Yeah. So me and my buddies are going shark hunting. You want to?" Boy. Now, if at some point I was just in this room, right, Zach, as I am from time to time,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, you know what? I feel like this room needs one more shelf.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I could probably design this shelf, but I feel like I could go to the hardware store and do it myself. I'm gonna do that.
Mhm.
That's a different vibe, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's different. I'm down with that. But that's because I made the decision to do that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it wasn't like my boss is like actually no. Actually, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It was just I just didn't like the way it played out. Like it's really something that if you were there, then you would understand why I'm pissed. Otherwise, you'd be like, "Come on, Arthur. It's just it's like yeah, it's a little tall order, but it is just kind of like it's just a shelf. It's not like he asked you to like replace the ceiling or some shit. I don't know, which he got someone else to do, one of the other coworker to do. I'm like, all right. Except well, then the thing is, right? Oh, sorry. That coworker ended up working for the office to do that sort of stuff because he went into maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
So that became his job, and he did the thing. And then one of my coworkers, who I'm cool with, she ended up having to build a damn shelf. I was like, what the fuck? But she seemed pretty okay with it, and she seemed pretty happy with it. And she was like, oh, look at this. And then she showed me a picture, and it looked awesome. Something I never could have done. And I was like, wow. You should have just asked fucking her. But yeah, basically what I'm saying is, don't be afraid to say no. Like immediately, if you think you're being overworked, and frankly, I understand his intent. I understand it was like, you know, hey, you're cool with this, and maybe why don't you try doing this? Maybe it's something you're interested in. I understand the intent, but you need to work on your You got to work on your communication skills, and you gotta gauge how you want people to do things for you in a way that doesn't make you, or that doesn't make them not want to do it, I suppose.
Or you could ask.
Yeah, you can ask.
That's a crazy concept.
I feel that, but here's the thing, right? I feel like any other worker, someone who hasn't maybe worked there for very long, would have just sucked it up and did it because they're too afraid to say no to their boss. And to be fair, sure, you know, saying no to your boss is very scary. But I cannot give this advice very loosely because it is very different for every single job. Because depending on the boss, you could say no and you'll get fired on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
To which I say, you probably shouldn't work there. But I digress. You know, if you're not up for the task, I mean, it's not like I just say, he's like, hey, do this. I'm like, no. That's not what I mean. What I mean is I didn't just say that because I did end up saying no. But I didn't just say no. I explained why I said no, or why I can't do it, why it's not my thing. And then I was like, yeah, you know, it's not my thing. It's not really what I do. It's not what I'm here for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not getting paid extra for this.
Mhm.
I'm not being paid separately for this. It's just part of me being clocked in. I'm not, I didn't sign up for this. I'm here to help, and that's fine, but on paper, I'm still a floor worker, a clerk, a register worker. I'm not. I'm already doing a lot being here. Not that I'm tooting myself up. That's not the point, right?
Mhm.
I'm not saying I'm like some God worker. No, I'm nowhere close to a God worker. No. But I'm a contracted painter. I'm not going to fix your dishwasher.
Right. And that it just doesn't make sense when you have these people who run these places who are just like trying to wear you so thin, because like your job is specifically like it's very specific, and especially if you're working in a chain where there's many different locations or whatever, if you're supposed to be running a register, then why the fuck would they have you back in the kitchen cooking?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's going to depend, right? Because in the bubble tea place, we do everything, right?
Yeah.
I do the register and make the drinks and pour the drinks and be in the back. It depends, right? So it's definitely going to depend on the place. But, for a restaurant, like a normal restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
if you're a waiter, they're not going to say, hey, cook this,
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a little different depending on where you're at. But in general, for a specialized, more general store, right? Where maybe, you deal food, for example, right? Yeah, if you're a hostess, you're not going to be in the kitchen, firing it up.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the. So it's a little different. I feel like what happened was because, in my job, let's say my job there is to, I don't know, and this happens all the time. My job there is to open. I'm there in the morning. I'm doing all sorts of stuff. And then there's already other employees in the front. I might go to the front and help just to do it. Technically, I can stay in the back, but I'll go in the front and help. Or if one person is on register and I say, hey, can you make a drink? They're like, yeah, of course. So it's different, right? Different scenarios, different workplaces, right?
Right.
Because, I can't just be like, I'll be making a drink and like, hey, someone be like, hey, Arthur, can you go in the back and grab me something? I can be like, no, it's not my job. That's a little different, but that's going to depend on your workplace.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, hey, Arthur, can you grab something from the back is different than, hey, Arthur, can you build a shelf? There's different. It's hard. I understand it's hard to figure this gauge out. But at the same time, okay. I'm not antagonizing my boss, first of all. That's not what this story is about. What the story is about is, testing the waters with each other, doing this human interaction with each other, and then figuring out what's right or wrong. We don't know that until we do this interaction with each other. That's all it is. And there was nothing wrong with that. He asked me to do something. I'm not really comfortable with it. I said no. That's it.
You went about it in a respectful way where you weren't just like, no, fuck you. You were like, listen, I feel like I'm not the best person to be able to do something like this. I think you should try to find someone else who would be able to do a better job.
Mm-hmm.
Like that very...
Wow, that's crazy. You just blew 50 million Twitter users' minds right there. You can't just get out of your way. You can't just get yourself out of business by saying, fuck you.
No, that's not how this works.
Not how the world works. You can. Man, I can't wait for these people to get jobs. And then learn that they can't just, oh man, I don't know. Well, one thing is going to happen. One thing is they're bad mouthing and doing all this shit on social media, right? And then they enter the real world and now they're too afraid to even speak up and say no for themselves. Because now they do know that the real world is very different from Twitter. But in reality, they're the same thing. I could also be on Twitter and be respectful, Oh, man. I'm so excited for the kids these days, Zach. I am. I really am. I'm excited for them, not in a malicious way, not in an old people looking down at the kids way. I'm excited to see how, because there are really genius kids, and people doing crazy stuff, students doing crazy things. You see that some engineer student made a USB-C iPhone?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it sold for $86K on eBay. Good for him.
$86,000?
I think so. Yeah.
Holy shit. You go.
Yeah.
That's sick.
And then he also, but it's more of a collector's item because he's like, yeah, I did it and it's, I engineered it and it does work and it will in fact charge with USB-C. But I recommend you don't use it because it might break. But, it's a collector's item, the first ever iPhone USB-C that technically works. Hey, he's a student and he dropped $86K. Good for him. Hell yeah,
I'm sure that probably put a dent in his student loans. Dude, I feel so fucking bad. Like, oh my gosh, dude. I was having a conversation with someone in my family who is much, much older than me. Who's around the same age as my mom. And she was sitting there trying to argue, like, when she went to college, she was able to work part-time at a McDonald's and pay her tuition.
Right.
And I was like, okay. And she was like, there's no reason for you to get student loans because if you work, you'll be able to pay for it. And I'm like, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
And then she's like,
that's how it worked. Everybody would be working at McDonald's paying their student loans. Like, why are we in a massive student loan debt mountain right now in the States, right?
Dude. Like, I sitting and arguing with them, like, listen, you obviously haven't done your research, or you just have so much money that you don't understand, like, $100,000 looks different to someone who has $3,000 in their bank account, aka me. It's like,
some people even less. And they are working part-time jobs, multiple jobs doing school.
Yeah.
Raising a family during, maybe even, depending on your circumstance.
Yeah.
All the stuff that we should probably
crazy.
save for this for this magical school episode that we keep teasing.
Yeah.
But I understand,
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like,
Different times have changed.
Stop it.
Come on.
Get some help. But anyways, yeah, it's definitely...
I'm excited to see the future, as an old chap like me.
I hope we can get to the point to where, it's more feasible and attainable for people to be able to go to school and get an education without having this giant fucking debt attached to them.
Yeah.
But that's for the student episode.
It
or
is
the
for
school
student
episode.
Because I do have a lot of thoughts on that. On both sides, for school and against school.
Right.
Yeah. I have a lot of thoughts on that. But yeah, go for that engineer guy anyways, and that engineer kid.
Dude, that's fucking awesome.
You
Like,
know?
I'm so stoked that he was able to create something. Like, I'm so glad that
I thought I
someone
was going to
finally
get
did it.
$100K. That would have been cool. Let's go. I got a semester paid. No.
Maybe a year.
No, yeah. Well, engineering school, I don't know. Anyways, I don't know. I thought that was cool. Oh, dude, one thing I started doing. Speaking of engineering, although it's not really engineering, but speaking of me being productive and starting to stream more, man, I've been playing this PCs building simulator. Let me tell you, Zach. As someone who loves PCs, building PCs, tech, and all that type of stuff. But as someone who isn't fortunate enough to be in a position where he can just build PCs all day, it's kind of like being an addict of some sort, but just saying how good of this thing is, but never being able to experience it as much yourself. But watching everybody else and all your buddies and them have fun with this thing, and you're like, man, fuck me. It's the same reason why I mentioned when I built the podcast PC, I was having a time, bro. It's not even the best parts, bro. 3700X, yeah, that's pretty nice, but that's probably the best part. Otherwise, it's a really cheap B450 micro ATX motherboard. I have your 660, GTX 660, you know, nothing crazy, but I was having so much fun building it. I was like, dude, this is great. I'm having a time. It's been a while. I built it super quick too, and that showed me like, wow, I came pretty far, you know?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I've just missed building computers, man. So this PC building simulator has kind of helped me with my withdrawals. And also because it's not really building a computer, because you can do that, of course, but I haven't gotten to the point, because it's kind of like a career mode, as most simulators are. Like you start off somewhere and then you kind of build up. That's how these simulators kind of work. And it's kind of fun, you know? And basically what you do is diagnose fix computers.
That's cool.
That's really fun. That's the thing that I have been doing, though. Not necessarily fixing computers, but helping people troubleshoot, figure out the issue. If it's beyond my help, then I tell them what to do or where to go to get it done for them, that type of thing. Or if, you know, instead of just taking your PC and giving it to Geek Squad and say, hey, what's wrong with it? You ask me, I figure out what's wrong with it. Then you'd go take it to Geek Squad and say, hey, this is what's wrong with it. Can you fix it?
Yeah.
That'll not only save you more money, but time and probably the correct fix, because now I've never experienced Geek Squad, so I cannot attest to it. So I'm going to speak in general as far as hardware stores go. And I'm not bashing on them, but this is just, you know, depending on where you go, how experienced or how local or whatever it may be, how big the chain is, how much they care, how much they get paid, right? They might just say, oh, yeah, you just need a new fucking computer, dude. Or, yeah, you know, your CPU is probably dead, or your motherboard's probably dead. But in reality, you just had like one of your RAM modules got unseated somehow, and you just got to push it back in.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of it has, you know, whenever I help people with computers, that's been the thing. Hey, you check your RAM? They're like, no, it's not my RAM. It's probably your RAM. You want to pull one out and then put it back in? They're like, oh my God.
So I just want to say, I am so genuinely surprised that my GTX 660 still works in there.
Yeah.
Like, it's still kicking.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I gave it a blowjob, but other than that, it's fine. It's the only thing it's used for is for display out.
Yeah. Because
the 3700X doesn't have any graphics. Doesn't have an IGP or APU, I suppose, for AMD. No onboard graphics, so I can't just. If I could do that, then yeah, just do that, because we're recording, getting meta. We are recording off the CPU. We're doing H.264 because God help me if I try to record off of that GPU.
Don't.
You know, but. Yeah, it's still kicking. I was even debating taking it apart and repasting it, but I was like, well, if it's just for a display out, then it doesn't really matter. I mean, for that sake, I could have just gotten like a 1030 or some shit like that, right? Some cheapo, go to school and steal it from one of the PCs, and all right, man, you know. But
put that beast into like a Dell Inspiron.
I was thinking about getting a Dell Inspiron just for this show. You could get a lot of mileage out of these Dell Inspirons, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you stick a graphics card. I mean, you know.
Sure.
Well, I mean, nowadays you can't really do that because you can't grab a graphics. By the way, Zach, that 3080 Ti.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever end up reading that Discord message thing? Because I asked you to read it. If you didn't, that's okay. But I never got a formal response. I wasn't sure if you read it or not. If you didn't, it's okay because you're at work.
I totally did not because I was at work.
That's fine.
Sorry.
It's all good. So let me give you the rundown for the people because they don't know what I'm talking about anyways. So I got to explain it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Because if you did know, I would have to explain it again anyway. So it'd be like, why did you answer this? Why did you ask this question?
Just go.
So, as you guys know, I've been kind of on this wild goose chase to obtain myself a damn 30 series graphics card. Starting from buying a whole computer to rip it out of. So, I decided, you know what? It's been months. Why is it not here yet? So I decided to email them. CyberPower, that is. And I'm like, hey, you know, fuck you. No, I didn't do that. What I did was I as an adult, not just an adult, but a decent human being, I sent a formal email. Hey, you know, it's been a couple months. Just want to know the status on my PC. I know there's a shortage. I know there's a chip shortage, GPU shortage, you know, and this computer I bought, I literally took a pre-built that they had, and you're allowed to change the parts, and I changed everything. So basically, they're just building a whole new computer, like configuring an entirely new computer. I was like, hey, you know, it's all good. No worries. I just want to know what the status is, where it's at right now in the process chain. That's all I asked. I didn't ask, hey, can I get a date? No, I didn't even go that far. I just said, hey, where's the status? I got a prompt email back really quick. That's awesome. Good customer support, right? And they're like, hey, a couple months ago, apparently there was an issue with the payment and with your bank, and it wasn't able to fulfill. So your PC ended up leaving the process chain. I was like, oh. But that wasn't unfamiliar with me because that did happen. When I bought the PC, sometimes your bank will do a, hey, fraudulent alert or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did, that was it. Like, yeah. And then I said, this isn't fraud. This is me, that type of thing. Just a protection thing. It's a good thing, but still, I was like, fucking hell, dude,
Mm-hmm.
I said, yes, that's fine. And I even talked with a rep about it. And I was like, hey, this happened. Is it all good? He's like, yeah, it's all good. But apparently it wasn't all good. And I was like, well, why didn't I get an email about it? And like, oh, you did get an email about it. I was like, no, I didn't. So I checked my email. And sure enough, I did get an email on it. But here's the problem, right? The email that I received back was kind of the stack email of not necessarily like, hey, this product ended up getting canceled or got delayed, or please call for support to get it back. What it was is the same emails stacked on top of each other in one email. So let's say they sent me email 1. Email 2 would have email 1 and then email 2 underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
Email 3 would have email 1, then 2, then 3. So what happened was I found this email, and at the very bottom, it said, oh yeah, I got canceled. At the very bottom of the email. Now you can argue, Arthur, I thought you were an adult. You should have read the entire email. That's fair. But you shouldn't put something so vital like, hey, this $2,000 thing you bought, yeah, it got canceled. You shouldn't put something like that on the bottom of a very extensive email.
Mm-hmm.
So I missed it. And not only that, but it was like in like not even like it's not even in white text. It was colored text against a black background, and they're all, well, you should use light mode. To which I say, fuck you. What are you, a pussy? So I'm like, I didn't see it. It just didn't contrast. It didn't stick out. If you're gonna make a color, make it red or something. I don't know. So I missed that single line of text in a big email. Sorry. Is it CyberPower's fault? I don't know. Maybe they should fix their email. Maybe they should. I don't know. I'm sure it's some sort of automated thing, and that's what happened, and it automatically stacked them. But I don't know. If it got canceled, I'd appreciate if I got maybe an actual representative, or even if it was a robot, to send me a separate email, not a stacked email. That would have been nice. So yeah, it ended up getting canceled back in June.
Oh. What?
Yeah. So I've been sitting here, Zach, patiently waiting. I'm like, okay, it's all good. Graphics card shortage. It's not just us. It's also the SIs, the computer builders. It's all good. They're just waiting for a graphics card. I even specifically asked for a non-Founders Edition. So that makes it even harder. Because I don't like the Founders Edition. You have to do that weird 12-pin thing. It's so fucking ugly. And even if I want to water cool it at some point, right, too, right? But then I would still have the 12-pin. I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I'm like, okay, it's all good. I asked for a really specific order. I'm fine with waiting. But after not getting a response, I'm like, okay, fine. I'll email them and ask what's up. So yeah, I just sat here waiting patiently, not being a dick, and I got fucked over. So that's unfortunate. Now I'm pissed. Not at CyberPower. At that point, sure, maybe it is my fault. I didn't see that part in the email. Maybe I'll say it. And in this case scenario, let's say it's my fault. But I'm still pissed because out of principle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, this is the other day. Literally the other day. No. Yeah, 2 days ago. So I'm pissed. Rightfully so, I hope.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right. And I have a lot of things to do that day. I have to get an oil change on my car. I have to drive all the way to Evergreen to drop off my my iPhone 11 to AT&T or my provider.
Mm-hmm.
So because, like I said, I'm doing a trade-in so that way I can get this for cheaper. I have to drop that off because my 30-day window is almost gone. So I'm like, all right, cool. It's been like 20 days. I don't have to use it anymore. All right, cool. So I was dropping that off. I drove all the way over there, right? In the rain, because it's been raining hard recently.
Mm-hmm.
In traffic for some reason. I don't know why going south right now is traffic at 1 p.m. or 12 p.m. rather. Like, what are you guys doing? There's a random spot. Y'all going to fucking swim class? What are we doing here? You know? Mm-hmm. And I go to this USPS mailbox, and it is quite literally a random mailbox in a parking lot. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not putting my phone in this. Like, maybe it is. Maybe, I'm able to. It's whatever. But it's literally just a mailbox just sitting in the middle of a parking lot. And I'm like, I drove 20 minutes, and this is just a random mailbox. I'm not putting my phone in here to send it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If it was like a mail to I don't know, some random dude in Idaho, sure, I don't fucking know. I'll throw my mail in there. And frankly, maybe that would have worked. It would have been fine. But I don't know. I don't want to put my phone in there, So I called my dad. I was like, hey, is there what the fuck? What's happening? Because when I'm scared, I call my dad, right? I'm like, Dad, what is happening? He was like, oh, do you know this? There's a USPS like right here. It's right behind the Taco Bell.
Oh,
there might be one in Battleground, but
there is.
Okay. Neither of those showed up in Google Maps.
Fun.
The one in Battleground didn't. I was like, there's gotta be one in Battleground, right? Don't see one. And
bro, it's right next to the high school in Battleground.
All right. And the one behind the taco smell was not on the Google Maps either. The closest one to me was that random mailbox in Evergreen. And then the next closest one was 20 miles down south. So I'm like, what? This can't be right. There's a USPS. It's got to be everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. There's got to be one near my house called my dad. Oh yeah, there's one by Taco Bell. You didn't know that? And I was like, what do you? So I cried for 20 minutes, and I was like, okay, whatever. I'll drive back there. I proceed. Okay, while I'm on my way back, let me get my oil change.
Yeah.
So I go to an oil change place, of which I won't name, but they're cool. I will say it's Jiffy Lube. Shout out to Jiffy Lube. I went literally yesterday, and they were awesome people. Can't say for every Jiffy Lube, but I don't know. I had a great experience. This is my second time going there. Anyways, besides the point, I get there and they're like, "Hey, I'm really sorry, but we're having technical difficulties right now. Our computers are down." I'm like, "Of course they're down." Of course they're down. So I'm like, "All right, no worries. It's all good. I'll come another time." They're like, "Yeah, super sorry. It's all good. It's all good. Not your fault. We're chilling,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right. At this point, I've been driving for about an hour. Well, actually, no, I'm driving back. Yeah, for about an hour. And then I drive. So now I drive to where I thought is where the thing is, the USPS.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, cool. At this point now, it's been like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, because I'm driving all the way back from Evergreen, and I had to drive this fucking roundabout road instead of taking the main road, because they're like, oh, it's the best road right now because the main road sucks. Well, this roundabout road sucks too. Anyways, I get there and I have to pee really bad. Like I've been holding this pee in since the oil change.
Mm-hmm.
I need to pee, Zach. I go into a store, or not a store, it's a gym. And I'm like, hey, can I pee real quick? I just had to use the bathroom real quick. You got a membership? Dude, I'm gonna piss myself on your front desk. Can I just use your bathroom? Didn't say that, of course. I was like, no, I don't. It's all good. No worries. All right, cool. I go back to my car, and then I call my dad. Hey, Dad, I don't see this USPS. And he tells me where it is, where it's next to. I finally see it. Okay, thank God. I go there. I wait in line. I give him the thing. I'm back home. Or I'm back in my car, and things are hunky-dory. Now then, what was this story all about, Zach? You may be asking to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You may be asking yourself that. Earlier that morning, actually, do you know what the New Egg Shuffle is?
Mm-mm.
So New Egg Shuffle is exactly what it sounds. It's a raffle. And you know what Newegg is though, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have this raffle and they set the system up way back. And it's to you go enter a raffle to get drawn and potentially win the chance of purchasing something. So like a graphics card or something like that may be out of stock.
Mm-hmm.
You don't win it. You get the right to purchase it, which is but you know, it's whatever. It's still better than buying a GPU from a scalper, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I've never done it because I thought it was a weird system and it was kind of yikes. So I was like, you know what? I'll try it. I'm up this morning anyways because they do it in the morning at 8 a.m. And I'm like, I'm up. So sure, I'll enter it. Let's give it a shot. I'm having a rough day. Or, you know, just the other day, I just got told my damn CyberPower computer got canceled 5 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
No, longer, I think, right? 6 months ago? No. Actually, no, it's the 11th month. 5 months ago. I'm pissed. Still pissed, as I mentioned. I'm going to just enter this raffle. I don't give a fuck. Sure, why not? And while I'm at UPS, I get a notification on my phone. It's like, hey, you won the raffle. I'm like, oh. So, okay, it's sick. So what happens in this raffle is you get to choose, like you get a check mark, like what things you want to win, and then you have a chance of winning one of those things. One of the things I checked were 3080s, sure, because that's the one I wanted. And another one, I just checked a 3080 Ti that was bundled with a motherboard because fucking why not, you know? Mm-hmm. It's a 3080 Ti. I win that one. And I'm like, oh. Problem is, Zach, like I said, you don't win it. You win the opportunity to buy it. So it's a 3080 Ti, much more expensive than I wanted. And it's bundled with an Intel motherboard, a Z590 motherboard, so a higher up one. So yeah, now I'm paying a lot more than I even cared to pay for. And I'm like, but here's the thing. After this entire shitty day, I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is just the stroke of luck that's just telling me this is it. I'm presenting this to you, whether you're superstitious, that's the word, religious, whatever it may be, fate, God, Buddha, whatever the hell, I've been bestowed upon this after a bad day. I'm just like, fuck it. You know what? Maybe this is it. Maybe it's the universe is telling me to do this. So I took the offer, and now this 3080 Ti is coming in today.
Oh shit. Okay. Yes. Yeah, I feel like you were getting just thoroughly raw dogged by life, and then somewhere something was just like, you can have this one on the house.
Yeah. Well, I still got to pay for it, but you know, I mean, I don't know how easy it is to win that raffle, but it is a thing that's been going on. And considering the graphics card thing right now, I assume a lot of people are entering the raffle,
right?
And I've never won a giveaway in my life, so I'm like, oh, ayo. And I'm like, it's not exactly what I wanted, but I was like, you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. I'm having a shit day. It's still raining. I still haven't peed yet. So I'm like, all right, you know what? Okay, let's for sure. Let's go. I'll do it. Let's go. I could sell the motherboard. Or at the end of the day, Zach, if I sell this motherboard for even a little bit, if I get any return on the motherboard and whatever it may be, I would still have paid less than I would have if I bought it from an eBay scalper.
Right.
So that was a silver lining that I chose to take, of which told me, okay, if you had not what I wanted, still expensive, but you know, it is what it is, and you know, you're still paying much less than a scalper, so why not? I guess so. And you know, maybe it'll end up doing well because you know it is, since it's a better card than what I anticipated. Maybe I future-proof myself farther.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe because now I don't need to buy it. I don't know. Maybe the next series graphics card, because Lord knows that's not going to be in stock. So whatever. Why not? I'm like, fuck. What? Fine. I'll do it. I was given this by whatever superstition thing you want to believe in. I got to do it. You know, I got to do it. Life told me to do it, so I did it. Life gave me the opportunity after a shitty day. So that's basically my big story of my graphics card debacle that I've been dealing with since I think I mentioned in like episode 6 of the podcast or some shit like that. And now we're finally here. I'm getting it in today. Pray to God, Zach, that it's good, that it works. I did research since I want to water cool it. It's a thing that was weird. It doesn't have a confirmed water block for graphics card for water cooling, so I was scared. But then I found a miscellaneous Reddit article that said, "Hey, I had this same exact 3080 Ti, same exact one I'm getting, same model and everything. And I bit the bullet, tried a motherboard, undid it, I bought a water block, put it on, and it fit. It works. I confirm it. I don't know if I'm just gonna trust this random Reddit guy that it works, and we'll be great. So yeah, that's my long story. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. The end of the big summary, big boy summary before we end it off is I don't even know. I said too many. I have too many tangents. I have too many roundabout stories. What do you think, Zach? What do you think about stories?
The
shelf,
the
graphics card, the
graphics card, work.
What is
So many
a
things.
bow tie for all of this?
I don't know. Fucking. Sometimes when you're getting raw dogged by life, you'll catch a break. So you just kind of got to put your head down and, weather the storm. I don't know.
No, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Sure.
Life is up and down. So sometimes the down just has to happen for there to be an up.
Right.
Yes. It's been raining hardcore these days, but it's going to start being sunny. I think it is sunny right now. Is it? If it is sunny, it'll be very poetic. It's cloudy.
Beggars can't be choosers. It's not.
I mean, it's been flood raining the past couple days, so I think yeah, beggars can't be choosers. I think that's the moral of the story.
Yeah.
Life sucks. It gets better, but maybe not the way you wanted it to get better, but it gets better in its own ways. So don't take things too for granted. Don't keep your expectations realistic, but don't get too doubtful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be good people.
Be good people.
Go to the links in the description.
If you're a good people.
Yeah. Well, only good people are allowed to click the links in our description. We got a coffee link. We got a whole bunch of stuff. We're on Spotify. If you're listening on Spotify, I love
Shout
your
out
face.
to the audio listeners.
Yeah, shout out to the audio listeners, even though there's no way that we can interact with you. I love you very much. And still don't have a Patreon set up, but it's fine. Everything's fine.
All good.
I don't know.
Keep saying it because, like I said, when it is set up, we'll be ready because we already prefaced it and we'll be chilling.
Yeah.
All right. See you later, folks. Zach has an appointment. He has something to do, so he's going to do it.
I have a thing.
He has a thing and he will do it. All right. Later, nerds.